This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to...
Whoa! You're Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rat smack! Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Welcome to Rat Castle, a progressive chat about Disney magic without the pixie dust. This is Dave Cobb. I'm filling in for our producer, Nathan Hartman, who is feeling sick today. Get better, Nathan. And so it's all the ladies and me. I told them I feel like Bosley and Charlie's Angels here, putting them all on the speakerphone. Today with me are Sarah.
Hello.
And Janine.
Howdy.
And Victoria.
Hi. Now I'm not sick.
I was looking at our little agenda and it was like, hi, I'm Nathan. Victoria is sick today. Oh, nope.
We need
Hi,
to switch
Victoria.
that.
Nathan is sick today. Yeah,
that's
I'm
all
sure
right. That's all right.
my time in the barrel is coming.
I am looking at our agenda here, and whoo boy, this week is a barn burner.
Yeah, get your coffee.
Get your coffee, settle in, folks. Hope you have a long commute, because this is a big one. There is so much news, and most of this news hit in like the last 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the last 48 hours.
They just like decided to dump everything on us. They're just like, here you go.
Yeah, here you go. And there was like one full day. It was one full day of Disney news, and then one full day of like Universal news. And all right, let's jump in.
It was nice of Universal to let Disney have a little
I
moment.
heard that was like back channel a negotiation to do that.
Wow.
Really?
Oh.
I heard that their
Tea.
marketing departments were like, we don't want to step in each other. We've both got big news, and Universal is secretly like, because our news is way bigger. We know it. And,
Yeah.
this is what I heard, and they're like, yeah, you guys go first. Go for it. So,
Well, that was
Anyway.
really
Our
polite.
little
Honestly,
news
they-
session.
They
Yeah.
did
Yeah,
them a
right.
favor, honestly, because if Disney came out after the fact with that, everyone would be like, oh, what? This is all
Yeah.
you, like, that's all you got? Whereas they get to kind of like fly under the radar a little bit now.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, right. Well, let's start with let's start on the East Coast with Walt Disney World. Janine, would you like
With
to
the
take?
big one.
Yeah, this is the
big one?
moment we've all been waiting for over here. We got our opening date for Tron. It
Woohoo!
is opening on April 4th.
Finally.
Finally. Really excited. It is going to require lockers though, which is pretty interesting. Is this the first Disney ride to require that?
I think at least here.
No,
Domestically.
the one in Shanghai uses lockers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
though.
domestically it
Domestically.
is.
Oh, domestically,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's
well,
gonna
that's
be
because
interesting.
traditionally all their coasters have sort of leg room, a well at the bottom. underneath
Yeah.
you. Even the looping ones, they let you bring it on because centrifugal force is going to keep it anyway.
And they have
Yeah.
like little places you can put your stuff in, like little pockets
Right.
on the
pockets, yeah.
In the bags.
None of that.
And technically, Tron has that. You remember how? Did you ever do Forbidden Journey when they had you put stuff in the back pocket in the seat? There was like a little plastic hinge. I don't even think they do
Yes,
it
No,
I
anymore.
remember
But believe it
that.
or not,
I don't remember that.
Their seats in Forbidden Journey had this little pop out, and they're ridiculous. There's no, all it did was hold up load, so they just don't use them at all anymore. And they put in the lockers when they built in Hollywood. But the and I think that the lockers were there in Florida from day one too. I just think it was one of those like if you have last minute like eyeglasses, keys, whatever. But Tron has that. If I remember correctly, somebody out there correct me if I'm wrong, but when I went in 2016, I thought there was a weird little pop open little panel somewhere, but it's so non-practical that, and the way you're seated on that thing like a motorcycle, there's just no way to hold anything. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. They had lockers for us as well in Shanghai. But anyway, it's having been on it like 10 times, let me tell you, that thing is small but mighty. Everybody's going to complain about the length. It doesn't matter. It's so freaking cool.
I wonder like how big the lockers are going to be, because I feel like when you go to Disney, it's such a different experience. Like the stuff that you bring with you to Disneyland or to like Disney World, you bring more stuff for some reason than when you than the things that you would take to like a Universal or Six Flags or not, because like you do like in those theme parks, it's more roller coasters, so you're not going to really bring a lot of things. But for like a Disney theme park, you're gonna bring like the big backpack and the baby bag and the stroller and all these different things.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
where are you gonna put all that? So I wonder how big the lockers are gonna be.
I want to know if they
Yeah.
have like a Velocicoaster-esque locker
Oh.
system.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like, does it? Is it right before you load? Because that system is genius.
I
Yeah.
love it.
But you have to start. That has to be started at the very beginning of planning for the
Yeah.
queue. You know, like that's. And if this is a direct lift of Shanghai and literally a clone, it's not going to have that. But maybe they change. I do remember
I doubt
there's
it's worth
an
it to them.
Yeah, I bet they just say, you know, sorry, go back out the exit, put in the locker, get back in line. You know, who knows? Anyway, get hyped. Tron is opening after so much time, so I hope they got it right.
Wait, I have a question. Did you guys figure it out? Like the clue?
No.
Because
Yeah.
I couldn't get it. You figured it out?
No.
I did. Eventually, when you guys described to me what it was, it took me a while, but I saw numbers that were like, wait a minute, that looks like March, that looks like blah blah blah, and then I saw CLU clue,
Yeah.
which is a
Well, why you ain't telling us?
Sorry, I thought it had been revealed already.
It was. I think the Disney Twitter website, the Disney Twitter, they posted it. Like they highlighted.
Yeah, they
what
did.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a character in the first Tron. That's a major character in the second Tron. And Clue is a character, yeah. And
that would have helped if I watched Tron before.
Coded logger. Oh, I'm a bad Tron fan. I'm such a Tron nerd. I should know it. Coded.
I thought you were
logarithmic.
Stan.
I was. I'm just old, so I don't remember now. But, I'm literally staring at a Tron poster. He's here in my office, like right there, and I can't.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, and the everything else was like Disney related. There's like DL and MK and all that.
It was like the theme park opening dates. I think the other dates.
Yeah, it was the opening dates of the other ones. And it
I was confused why they brought up
there.
Disneyland though.
Well, it was the opening day of the park, but I was like, I wonder if we're gonna get Tron. I hope we do.
I don't know.
Where would they put that?
What I heard was take over. What's the launch bay? What used to be America Sings, what used to be Carousel Progress, and the entire submarine lagoon.
Wow.
I love the lagoon though. I would support it.
There. I would too.
Yeah, I would support if they keep imagine going over the lagoon. That'd be so sick.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
It would go over. It would go over Autopia too.
Yeah,
the entire thing would go over
cool.
Autopia. Yeah.
Wow.
How they would do that, I don't know, but I hope they do.
I know. Disneyland, get on it. Get on it. We want this. Also at the Magic Kingdom, we have a big show coming back. Do we not?
Yeah, April 3rd is going to be the big switcheroo day. April 3rd is when Happily Ever After returns to Magic Kingdom and Epcot Forever takes over at Epcot. And so Harmonious will be leaving. So pretty exciting. The Happily Ever After is going to have the new projections down Main Street, which is really cool. If you guys haven't seen that, it's a lot of fun. It makes
so cool.
it like, I'm not a big stay for the fireworks kind of person, especially at Magic Kingdom, but it's a treat. It's very immersive. So I think it'll be really cool.
Does that use projections on Main Street like as well as the fireworks, or
that's what they're
Happily
saying,
Ever After?
yeah.
It didn't before.
Yeah.
I don't think, but it has new ones this time. It's going to have them now.
Oh,
that's gonna have them now.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have friends who are Disney nerds. They're really excited. I'm sure we'll probably be there within the first couple of days.
Oh, good luck.
Of that. Yeah.
I did see Epcot Forever for that brief second that it was playing. I forget why I was there, but
what was its runtime? When I forget Epcot Forever's runtime.
It was pretty brief because I never even saw it.
Yeah.
October 1st, 2019.
That's why.
Through 2021.
I was there for IAPA. I saw it then.
Oh, nice.
But like the Harmonious budget, the tacos are departing. No more future tacos.
I know people
are so mean.
People are really sad about that.
I'm surprised. Like
I am too.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
I mean, I'm just like, they really invested all that money
I
in
have
that, and
I
they're
have a
just gonna.
prediction. I have a prediction.
Okay.
They're going to be anchored permanently in the Disney Springs Lagoon, and
Nathan
can see
pitched
that.
that when we first talked
just
about
be
it.
background, just be a background thing that happens every once in a while. They can promote new stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not going to throw that.
That
crap
makes
out. They're gonna-
way more sense.
That's
Don't
not a bad
just-
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
But I
it
think
just fits better there.
it
Yeah.
does. I think it's kind of funny how for so long on Twitter, people were just kind of, they just didn't like them. And then now that they're gone or that they're going to be gone, all of a sudden we have barges lovers. Like, I just don't know how that
It's just
happened.
people just love to hate.
It's just like, it's like if you can't make anybody happy, it's like, I get it.
I get. I mean, I'm indifferent. I forgot they were there. To be honest,
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they're gone, but at the same time, like, I can understand that people love that show.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that it was a great
And
show.
it wasn't the end
it's a
of the world.
beautiful show.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
from
just
the
glad
right
that we
angle.
have the full, like, we could see the whole lagoon again. Like, it's super beautiful. Like, that view.
Yeah.
Getting the like reflection at night of the lights of the pavilions on the
Mhm.
water is such an iconic image
Yeah.
for me.
Right.
And it's like a formative image. Like I remember being a kid and my parents taking me to Epcot and like that being in home videos and home pictures and just having that sight line is very sentimental.
I wish they would bring back Surprise in the Skies. I don't know if you're probably too young to remember that. That was a daytime show at the lagoon at Epcot.
Mhm.
Look it up.
Mm.
There's YouTube videos. It's like jet skis and kites and and what they call daytime fireworks, which are basically like fireworks with colored smoke on the actual. So they're doing bursts,
What?
but they're also on the edges of the kites. So they're making these swirls and color patterns.
Oh,
on things.
wow.
Yeah,
So
it
what
was in, like,
Kite Tales
that-
tried to be.
Yeah, it was like 91. I think
91.
It was for the
Oh, there's like
20th anniversary.
wasn't
like
even
hang
alive
gliders.
yet.
Hang gliders and paragliders. Yeah, it's silly,
Bonkers.
but
It's very
90s.
1991.
I mean,
This is
Yeah,
pretty nuts,
bring-
honestly.
I'm like,
I'm watching
bring
it.
back Surprise in the Skies. Bring back Surprise in the Skies, you cowards.
You know, I think it was Epcot Forever though. I remember seeing a nighttime show with my boyfriend. So sometime after 2019, it must have been Epcot Forever, but they had kites that were being
Yes.
dragged by drones.
Oh,
and
whoa.
I think that was it.
I just
That was.
watched a video of Epcot Forever and did not see those things in it. And so was it just like a temporary thing? I want them back. I thought that was the coolest thing. I loved the drone kite things.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
And they did the big drone show for the 30th in Paris. I don't know if you watched the video of that. It's
Mhm.
Oh, I
It
did,
was
yeah.
really cool.
I have seen
and
that.
the
Yeah.
draws
Yes.
of the ears, and I'm very surprised they haven't used drones before in Epcot. I know that the U.S. Kind of laws around them are a little different about doing them over people and things. So, but I think that they figure that out. So my guess would be that they actually do some over the water, but we'll see. That is a very challenging place to do a show, and every time
Mhm.
they sort of do it differently, I commend them for whatever new thing they're trying. So let's see what they do. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Moving on, a Reedy Creek is back and backer than ever.
Yeah, this one's wild. Basically, people were just able to eavesdrop in, I guess, or just pay attention to the Reedy Creek planning meeting that was on Wednesday, the 11th, and they updated their land use plan to allow for the addition of 2 more minor parks, which they said are more like water parks. And their previous 2020 plan already included 1 major theme park. So people are kind of wondering, is this in addition to that? Did that get scrapped? Is that still
Right.
going?
Yeah.
But it sounds like Disney is still planning on 2 like water park type things. Maybe we'll get our Avatar water park.
Yeah, I still think that's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. Yeah.
Well, and the fan favorite theory, and I know that concepts were done for this because I've been told by friends at Imagineering. I never saw them, but that idea of an entirely villain-based Magic Kingdom,
Oh,
Like-
wow.
not necessarily Magic Kingdom, but a villain-based park. So it's more iron rides and thrill rides, more a little adult focused.
That's funny.
I actually think that would have a stickiness, to be honest.
No, I agree. And it's just I say it's funny because Universal right now is trying to be like, ooh, we need to get into like more of the family market.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Disney's
they
like,
really
ooh,
do,
we need
though,
to
to
get
be
more into
honest.
the thrill market.
Yeah, right, right. You got
you guys have lanes.
you,
You could just stay in your lane.
yeah, right, right. So
No,
so
Universal
we'll see.
definitely has a family problem though. Like
No, for sure.
Yeah.
they
for
gotta
sure.
appeal to them.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see another Disney theme park in our lifetime, which, to be honest, are words I'd never thought I'd hear coming out of my mouth.
I
Same.
would be shocked. I don't believe
I
it.
would
I'll believe it when I
truly
see
be
it.
shocked.
You really don't believe it? Like that there won't be
I mean-
another gate like anywhere? I think it could happen like maybe within like a decade.
Well,
Yeah.
I bet if when you look at other things in the marketplace, like they could easily do the Animal Kingdom adjacent version of Discovery Bay,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, that's true.
Low capacity, high touch, water park meets wild animal experience.
Mhm.
I know they've said in the past they don't want to get into dolphins, but they could figure something out there, right? Like that would be, I would look at the marketplace and see what don't they have. They don't have that, and they don't have a like kids only, solely kids Legoland style experience. So my bet is it's going to be in those two realms, and we'll talk more about the Universal throwing down on that idea a little bit later. Parking is free again in Walt
Yay.
Disney World.
Yay. It's the little things.
It really is.
It really is not a yay moment for me. It's more of a like, how did we ever get put in this position to
Right.
begin with?
That
Right.
part.
We're
They're
doing
paying
the bare
so
minimum.
much.
This gets them to the, as you said, Sarah, they get them back to the bare minimum. Like,
Yeah.
all right, thanks.
Yeah. Shocking. But welcome. I will I don't know what else to say about that. Like, I don't want to applaud too much. Like, yep, you came to your senses. Good on you.
Yeah, I mean, if they did that and then brought back like the Magical Express, then I would be like,
Yes. Yep.
okay.
Yep.
When I do Magical Express, then I'll be like, yes, thank you.
That and
Like,
I've
on my
never
knees.
used that in my life, and I never will. But it is so upsetting that they got rid of it because that's the whole
Yeah.
pitch. Is you get to the airport, you don't have to rent a car. You
Mhm.
just live at Disney, and it's like, why
Mhm.
would you force people to invest in a mechanism that takes them away from your property?
What when did that go away? What year did that go away?
I think it was like
last year.
Yeah.
Was it? Was it pre-pandemic?
Mm-mm.
I
No,
heard
it's
it was
after.
because of the Brightline thing.
Yeah,
Because I
that's
thought
what
it was because of
No.
the Brightline thing.
But in
And then
terms
the
of
Brightline thing fell through.
yeah, which is crazy because Universal is taking full advantage of that, and Disney isn't. Like, I don't understand why Disney isn't taking full advantage of this like amazing opportunity. It just
Yeah,
sounds super
yeah.
ridiculous.
It's one of those things where those three announcements, what was it? Parking, park hopping, and attraction photos
Mhm.
were like
Mhm.
all of those for me is kind of like, all right, you're back to the bare minimum of what you used to do. Like you said, Sarah, they're not, none of those
Mhm.
sounded. I mean, so summarize for us, what is the park hopping requirements have been relaxed as well, Janine?
Oh yeah, so starting I think Disneyland got better park hopping relaxation. Disney
Yeah, theirs
World
is
annual
11.
Disney World the park hopping is the same, but except for on Saturdays and Sundays, annual pass holders can visit the park without a reservation after 2 p.m. And only
Oh,
the
okay.
Saturday, Sunday is only at Magic Kingdom. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah.
Only at Magic
Mhm.
Kingdom. But other than
And
that,
the park
you can-
hopping only applies to pass holders.
Mhm. And they don't have a
Yes.
definitive date for it just yet.
Yeah,
Nope.
which
of
is
when it'll
interesting.
start. Yeah.
This seems
Got it.
pretty easy to do, but
Right,
that's pretty
right.
cool. People were, I think that's really great. A big part. I often don't get to the parks until after 2 anyway. So for
Oh,
me,
that works out for you.
yeah,
And-
and for me, like Disney was always like, "What are we gonna do today? I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
just swing by the parks." And so
Right.
like they took that away, and now it's like everything has to be scheduled weeks in advance, and
Yeah.
it brings back the what we love about Disney.
Yeah, I hope that ripples
Mhm.
out to the West Coast too. But like when I lived in Orlando, Jason and I'd get home from work and I'd look at Jason and go, "What do you want to eat?" "I don't know. What do you want to eat?" And he's like, "I don't know. Let's go to the Moroccan Pavilion." And we'd go to Epcot for dinner. We'd grab a drink, walk the lake twice, get back in the car and go home. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
it was one of my favorite things ever, just having that nearby. And I used to do the same at Disneyland. So I hope that culture comes back. To me,
Yeah.
it's not just the
Mhm.
idea of me doing it. It's because you would see other pass holders and you'd run into people that and like it's just anyway. I'm glad it's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just now the photo downloads are part of Genie Plus in Florida as well now, which they've always been here in West Coast, right, Sarah? That you got attraction photos and
Yes.
and character photos. So they're adding that to Florida now, right?
Oh, that's funny.
That seemed like a money grab to me in Florida. Like
Yeah.
they're still charging for that. Like, come on.
I didn't even know they were charging for that. Like, I wonder how
It's
much
wild.
it was.
Who's paying
Yeah, 'cause
for
there's-
attraction photos?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well,
but, like,
remember they had Memory Maker for a while that you could add to your
I
vacation
mean, they still
package?
do. They still
Oh, do they?
still hawk that. Yeah, I still like in the TA website anyway. You can still add that to your vacation package, and it's like if you
Oh,
do it when you book it, it's 69, but if you do it like after you've paid, it's like 99 or something like that
and,
Wow.
and
For some pictures, like
for some
reading
pictures.
reading the fine print here, it's just for attraction photos that they're giving
Yeah.
you for free. So character
Yes.
photos you don't get.
No.
Mm-mm.
And Memory Maker, like I don't get it, but I'm also not a mom juggling 4 kids and a stroller, and it's like not having to take the camera out every time and
Yeah.
have somebody else take pictures of you on the fly. I get it. Like that's an easy cost to add to my already expensive thing. I wouldn't get it for myself, but I get it.
I mean, for international guests too, I would imagine. I haven't booked international guests yet, but I would imagine that would be a good deal for them too.
Right. And it's one thing to want, memory photos of you and your family with Goofy, because that's awesome. But attraction photos are always kind of like, they're fine. I for years I've said they should just give these away because people repost them on social media. It's advertising. Why are you charging for this?
Yeah. Yeah, that part's always wild.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's and then I think that wraps up Walt Disney World. Let's move on to the West Coast.
the West Coast. Yeah.
Mara,
So
what's going on the West Coast?
a lot. A lot is happening in downtown Disney. So starting off with downtown Disney, La Brea Bakery has permanently closed.
Wow.
The Wonderground Gallery and Disney Home are temporarily closed. I'm not sure what's going to go in place of the Wonderground and Disney Home, but in terms of the La Brea Bakery, I believe Porto's is going to be taking over that, right?
As far as
Oh
I've
my
heard,
God.
yes.
So excited.
Janine and Victoria, have you had Porto's before?
No.
I've heard of it. I've not
Y'all
had
are
it.
missing out.
Porto's is a cult here in Southern California, and rightfully so. It's a
Yep.
Cuban bakery. It's a family that has a chain of Cuban bakeries, and
You had me at Cuban.
their guava cheese Danish is
Y'all, I live in
Oh.
Tampa. I live 2 blocks from
Oh.
Ybor.
That's true. Oh my God, you're like whatevs. We got Ybor
We got
City.
really- we got the
yeah,
what
Cubans.
else?
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
This
That's why
looks a
Porto's
little
hasn't-
bit fancier. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's why Porto's is never go to Florida. They don't need to. You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
True.
Oh,
La
love it.
Segundo
So good.
will start a turf war.
I love Ybor City. That's my favorite. There's Ybor City. You want a weird one? Ybor City has the best secondhand clothing stores I've ever been to.
Oh, for sure. La France and Revolve and yeah.
Yes, and
wow.
especially now, and especially for like older guys of size like me, because guess what? It's people from the South who retire there. All the old folks from New York who retire in Florida and die. All their clothes go to the secondhand stores.
Yeah.
I found
That
some
is
of the
so smart.
I found some of the best suits ever. It's so great. Anyway.
That's so smart. But yeah, so Porto's is going to be taking over La Brea Bakery, which I am totally fine with that. Just love Porto's. And Earl of Sandwich is coming back. I love Earl of Sandwich. So yeah. The next thing is Run Disney is going to be returning to Disneyland. So for all you runners out there, that does not include me, have fun. like, have a
I'm
good
gonna
time.
try it.
I only run when chased. I only run when
Yes.
chased.
Yeah, not for fun. But Victoria, you ran one of the marathons for Run Disney. Like, how was that?
It was fun. It was the second time I've done it, but I've never. This was my first half. I did not finish. But it was a lot of fun. Like they had a lot of fun characters on there. I got to run through the castle and
Okay, so
run
Victor, do you recommend it?
as long as you can walk a 16-minute mile. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
my
Like you can
boyfriend is
walk
thinking
the
about
whole
doing it
thing.
next year. Well,
Yeah,
he's a
I say
runner.
do it.
I'm not doing it, but
Like,
I saw on Twitter, Jack Patillo, our friend Jack from Annual Pass, did all of them at the last
Yeah,
one.
he did the dopey
He
challenge.
did
So
Dopey
basically,
challenge. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
fun.
it's
It's like
when you
a marathon, a
do the
half marathon, and a 5K, or
5K,
what?
10K, half full, and
5K,
if he's
10K, half full.
feeling fancy, he can do Castaway K challenge too.
yeah,
okay. All right.
That's nuts.
It's
I
insane.
can't imagine what that's like.
yeah.
Once
I
again,
will
love
never
that for
know.
y'all.
Yep, not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me.
Not for us.
I
No.
cap at the half. I'm
I
not doing
literally
the full.
like run out of breath just like going up the stairs. Like I can't do it. It's not good for you guys.
Props to you, Jack, for doing that. We love you.
Love you, Jack.
Yes, good for you. But like I was saying, so registration dates will be coming up soon. They're going to be, I think the first race will be June 2023. So keep an eye out for that.
wow.
There's going to be a couple of them. There's a princess one, there's the half marathon, springtime, wine and dine, which I guess maybe you can drink and run at the same time. I don't know.
You can
Oh.
actually.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, you can.
What is
And
a
with the-
virtual series of Run Disney?
Maybe
Virtual is when you just do it at your own pace at home and you still
Okay.
get the medal.
Yeah.
All right.
They ship it to you?
Yeah.
They ship it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
There's a lot of those. A bunch of the brands and IP and
Mhm.
have those. You can do.
Oh, wow.
There's a
I
Lord of the
didn't-
Rings one that you can do and get all
Oh.
these different medals. Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
I would do if I'm allowed to stroll or saunter rather than run.
Yeah,
walk.
I could walk all
Disney.
day.
I could.
Yeah, you
walk
could
Disney
walk the
and
whole
drink.
thing.
Sure.
Yeah, like the wine and dine
Matter of
sounds
fact,
fun. Yeah.
I saw my friend, she did the dopey, and they had enough time to literally get on Expedition Everest and then keep on going.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I was,
I didn't know that
was
you
like,
get
good for
like into the parks.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, you go
You
through.
run in the
I went
park.
through
Oh,
Magic
yeah.
You're
Kingdom,
allowed
yeah.
to like deviate and stop and do things?
No, not
certain
necessarily.
certain ones, certain areas. Yes.
Most
Okay.
of them that are the strict races are like it's in the early morning before the park's open, and employees are cheering you on.
Okay.
And it goes through the
You
park
get
and
up
it goes through
so
back
early.
yeah, like it goes through back of house areas and other stuff. So they make a circuit that sort of highlights certain areas of the parks. It's
Okay.
pretty neat.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't do it if you're not willing to get up like stupid early. They want you there by 4 a.m. So some people
No
wake up at
way.
2:30.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why I only
nuts.
do one race a year. I'm only getting up at the ass crack of dawn that early once
Oh
a year.
my God.
Well,
Yeah, that just, I just cured my boyfriend's desire to do that for sure.
yeah, you're looking out for him. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
But since there was so much news that has been dropped, Disneyland also dropped a bunch of news and a bunch of updates to the guest experience in the parks. For the first thing, so we already talked about park hopping in Disney World. Disneyland has park hopping, and it'll begin February 4th. And you could start park hopping at 11 a.m. But you still have to have reservation.
Right?
Yeah, instead of 1:00, which is nice. Because
And that's
like
all guests?
yes, that is for all guests.
Yes, as with your park hopper ticket.
Or yeah.
Yep,
So it's
or
either
Magic Key.
Mhm. So that's really nice. But you still have to have a park reservation, unlike Disney World. So you still gotta show up. And so they're also going to be giving more opportunities to visit the park at a cheaper rate. So for $104 a ticket. Now I'm not sure if that's a park hopper. I believe it's
One
just
day,
a
one
regular.
park.
Yeah,
One
one
day,
I think
day.
it's 1 day, 1 park.
Yeah. So there will be more of those dates available if you would like to buy a, I guess if you really want to call it a value ticket. Yeah, it's not really a value ticket, but if you want to call it that, it'll be $104. And guests will also be getting complimentary photo pass attractions to take home. So that's really cool.
And that ticket, I think that ticket's important for Disneyland because there's a lot of people that come to SoCal and go, oh, let's go to Disneyland. Like, it's not they plan an entire trip. They want one day of their trip, or they're here on business. I have friends who come in business all the time, and they're like, "Hey, you have a pass? Let's meet up there." And I'm like, "Do you have a reservation?" Like, it's not that spontaneity's gone. So I actually think this is a little better, and I hope this leads to something similar with Magic Key, where it's like certain days after a certain time we can just come in. You know what I mean?
I hope so too, because like you were saying earlier, it is a part of like the culture here. Like just being able to say, "Oh, do you want to go get chicken fusilli?" Like that's like just walk around after work.
Yeah.
Like that was the vibe.
The last annual pass version with Max Pass was the way to do it, where there were certain days where you needed reservations.
Yeah.
And certain days where we just walk in, but even those you had to check because like they would cap it off. They on the app.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Require reservations for your high demand days. Why are you demanding it for every single random Thursday?
Well, now it's become they're all high demand days though. Like if you look at the parks now, it's it's always busy. Like even that 2 weeks where they had blocked out all Magic Keys, the parks were still busy. Like they still had a bunch of people there. So at this point, there's really no off season. There's no like non-peak days. It kind of is just, unless it's raining. Because we're not as strong as the Floridians. We see a little bit of rain and we just all stay home. so like those are the only days. But that $104 ticket, I think, is a really nice. If they add more days, that would be great, because the tickets right now, I think for one day, one park on peak days, like can go up to like $175. So that's a major discount for those people that do come. It's kind of like a spontaneous trip, because unlike Disney World, you can do Disneyland in one day. Like totally.
I have friends who who are not theme park people at all, but are huge Christmas people. Alonzo, who's on the show, we talked about this.
Oh, nice.
They were like, no, we're not going for $175 for the day, or 200.
When I went to Disneyland last, I think my family of 3 spent over $500 on our one-day park hopping tickets.
Oh my god!
Like if we go to California this summer, we're not doing Disney because that's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah. And
what other new stuff do we got coming though at Disneyland?
So oh my gosh, I'm so excited! I'm so excited for this. Tiana's Tiana's Place is coming later this year. Like not 2023. No,
like
we aren't
literally this
not 2024. Yeah, this year. So they will be closing the French Market as well as the Mint Julep Bar, and Tiana's Place will be taking over. This is
Palace.
really Tiana's Palace. Tiana's Place. Take away my black card. Tiana's Palace. Jesus. So that will be, we see the concept art. It looks stunning. It's beautiful. I really liked how you saw Lottie and Tiana's mom there as well in the concept art. That was so cute. And I'm just so surprised that it's going to be happening at the end of this year.
Like so soon.
Yeah. You know, so soon that we're almost there.
It's the French Market will be closing soon. I believe in February 17th. So if you want to get your mint juleps, go for it before then. Pretty excited.
And then we also have two new. Wait, do we talk about the new shows there? The Wondrous Journeys, World of Color 1. I think we talked about those a few weeks ago.
Yes, we talked about
a few
those
weeks ago.
But those will be coming up January 27th. So if you want to, go for those shows on that day, go for it.
Go for it. That's Mickey and Minnie's too. Like I'm staying far away from.
Oh yeah, Mickey and Minnie's is all that in one weekend. I think all that in one day.
One day. I will be there that day because I don't know what's wrong with me, but I will be there.
I love that for you.
I don't know why. I mean, Victoria, you ran a marathon. I'm going to on the 27th. We're resilient in that way.
Living our best life.
San Francisco is finally starting. What was that? Did y'all hear that, or am I crazy?
No, that they broke ground for San Francisco.
Oh yeah. So they broke ground or not broke ground, but they drained the lagoon at the Pacific Wharf. So San Francisco will be coming very soon. It seems like.
I'm excited for that. I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah,
I'm
me
wondering
too.
I wonder if it's gonna be this year.
I mean, to be honest, it's all cosmetic changes, so it should be done by the end of this year. It's not like they're doing anything crazy.
True,
You know?
that's true.
But I'm even surprised that it's happening because it really did seem like one of those projects that they just announce and then it just never happens. Especially going into a recession year.
History serves that, they announce shit and then they cancel it. Like there was like
Exactly.
6 projects for Disney World that they canceled last D23 Expo.
And they were big projects, like not
They were
just
big
a cosmetic
projects.
change. So yeah, I feel like this one could have definitely fell under the radar and like people would have forgot about it. But I'm glad that they're sticking to it, and just kind of focusing on it. It's exciting to see just something happening in that area because we need to tie in Pixar Pier and just that little bit of color and life to that kind of very dull situation. So yeah, that's all the news for Disneyland. A lot's going to be happening within the next few weeks. So if you want to make your way over, go for it.
Awesome. I think that's all for the Disney parks. We're going to jump over to Universal. I'll take these. So 2 big, huge, actually, rather surprising announcements from Universal. First, that Universal is opening a park in Frisco, Texas. And the log line is that it's dedicated to families with young children. My first thought of hearing that and seeing the concept art, and it's typical aerial concept art where you can't see full details. They don't give away a lot. It's very carefully disguised. But when you look at the colors and shapes and scale, the first thing I thought of was Legoland. So to me, from a business perspective, like we said earlier, a small park like this is like a Legoland killer. And I think for Universal, especially now that they own Illumination and DreamWorks, some of the biggest kids brands in the world, which they're furiously adding to their existing parks. Oh my God, this is such a smart business move because it lets them get into other markets in the way Legoland has.
Also, the location was very smart too. I had a friend who's in the military. She mentioned that's a really big military area with like families. So like they're capitalizing on the military families there as well.
Yeah, it's in Dallas Metro, right? It's not far from Dallas.
Just about,
And that's like that's the 3rd largest metropolitan area in the country or something like that. It's
Dallas is definitely growing,
anyway,
that's
so
wild.
I think it's really smart, and that made me think, all right, well, where else would they go? For me, if that park is a success, their next stop would be Europe, because Universal doesn't really have a European presence.
They don't have a European presence. You're absolutely right.
But those kind of little pocket parks do really well there. So I don't know. I saw mixed reactions on Twitter. I saw people saying this is cool. I saw people saying it's crappy.
What a shock.
What a shock.
What a shock.
I'm very surprised. I was surprised about it. I never saw that coming, but I think it's really smart.
I think I like how colorful it looks.
Yeah,
right. It's
really
very
fun.
vibrant.
Yeah,
it honestly solves their family appeal problem a lot. Like rather than just build a land in one of their parks, they build a whole theme park dedicated solely to families with young children. And I could easily see them doing what Six Flags did and making that park an autism center as well.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. And I think there's also viability. I saw somebody on Twitter say that this could be an incubator for attractions that roll into the big parks. Like, let's not spend a lot of money. Let's try out that brand or a scaled down version of that attraction here. And if it does well, we'll capacitize it for Florida or Hollywood. I think that makes a lot of sense too.
That's a very smart idea too.
Yeah.
Well, they got 4 years to build it.
Yeah, that's a long time. I just hope that they move all the Minion stuff from the regular parks onto there, because it just wouldn't make more sense. Because it just feels like you guys were saying, that they're just like throwing all these IPs into their parks right now that don't really make a lot of sense. So it would be cool to see like Minions maybe stay. I mean, I'm seeing like yellow blobs in the.
I can't tell if those are minions or cacti.
I was thinking just domes. I wasn't sure. Like I wasn't sure what they were either.
We're looking at like the little cutouts on the roof of that building in like the bottom right?
Yeah.
Or are you
No, we
looking
love
at the
concept
Oh,
art.
okay, yeah, I
huts?
can see that.
Yeah.
I was looking at the yellow kind of like half circle thing.
Minaret things?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was like, are those just big minions? I don't know.
They
I
look
can
like
easily see
cabanas or
trolls.
something. I see trolls for sure.
I see trolls for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like Camp Cretaceous over there in the Jurassic
Oh,
Parky
I didn't
looking
even
building.
I didn't even think Camp Cretaceous. That's a
Oh,
very
that's
cool brand.
right.
Yep.
Oh, that's really smart because
Yeah.
then you don't have to shove animated dinosaurs into your main park. That's really smart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, all right, Universal, you've laid down a gauntlet. I'm very excited to see where they go with this. The next one is doing something regional with their horror brands. This I was very surprised about. They have made a deal with Area 15, which is a entertainment complex in Las Vegas. It's the one where Meow Wolf is located. And a couple of other things. There's some VR stuff and an AR bar and all this very cool technology.
Yeah, it's a cool space.
Young people kind of hang out day and night kind of place. They are putting a permanent horror concept. They haven't said what it is. The art just makes it look like a bunch of scary characters walking out of a big scary warehouse. But it says it features multiple immersive experiences that showcase Universal's vast library of iconic horror films and terrifying characters. So my read on this, first of all, I think horror in Vegas is really smart. Jason
I agree.
Blumhouse had their own permanent attraction for a very long time, and now that they've made a ton of money for Universal, I'm sure they're like, "Hey, why don't you close that and come over and make this with us?"
Mhm.
I think it did close. I don't think it's there anymore, but I pre-pandemic we went to it, and it's pretty good. It was a good haunt. I think this is a couple of things. It allows them to do mazes and make them a little more permanent and roll them in and out. With seasonal stuff with new movies. I
Mhm.
think it'll have escape rooms. They're going to take their Universal's escape room concept and add some of their horror brands to them in this location.
Mm.
I think that's going to be a platform that they use elsewhere. And then I think it's going to be like, you know, temporary stuff, costume displays, behind the scenes of movies, character meet and greets. Think like Instagram museums, like Museum of Ice Cream, but it's all horror. I think this thing is so smart because nobody owns horror nights and nighttime horror attractions like Universal does.
That's very true.
Other than maybe Knott's, and so this is super exciting. What do y'all think?
I think it's cool that it's year round. Like that is a lot there. Like you're saying that's like a really big business. So to have something that's year round in Vegas, it just would be really, really cool to see. And I'm excited to see which IPs they use for it, or like are they going to be making mazes that are similar to the ones that they already have, or maybe they'll be testing out mazes that they could put like in regular like horror nights. That could be that could be something that they could do. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm not the biggest horror fan, even though I'm wearing my little blue hat. That's the extent to my horror.
Lil Boo.
Yes,
Lil
little bit.
Boo.
That's the extent. But I think it's so cool. Like I'm excited for them to be kind of opening up and trying new things, and they're not afraid to like fail. It feels like at this point they're just like throwing a bunch of things at the wall. So
Which is great.
yeah, like
I love
something's
that.
bound to succeed
Yeah.
from that. So I'm excited.
The thing, both of these announcements, Universal, Disney has never really been able to crack the regional nut. They did two things in the past. They had Disney Quest. There's one in Orlando as a flagship, but then they had one in Chicago. And then there was another thing called Club Disney that they did
Yeah.
for a while in the 90s. That was
Mhm.
like what were those kids indoor play areas
It's like a
that
Chuck
you
E.
guys
Cheese.
grew up with?
Like a Chuck E.
Chuck E.
Cheese,
Cheese,
pretty
Yeah.
Chuck E.
much.
Cheese, but yeah, but neither of those really worked because at Disney money, right? The
Yeah.
cost development for Disney is always very high, and so what I had heard is that the business plans never worked because designing and building them at Disney quality was so high. Not that Universal isn't high quality, but Universal is a lot leaner. Like Universal, we've seen how fast they put stuff out, and I know for a fact their teams are
Mhm.
smaller and they're a lot leaner in their development. So this is Universal sort of saying, we are going to do all that regional crap that Disney's never been able to do. So I'm here for it, and I love that they're being this ambitious. It's very exciting. Now we're moving over to the Disney company. Victoria, why don't you take these?
We're starting off a little rough. Iger has ordered Disney employees to return to the office 4 days a week now. So any employee that was a hybrid employee has to start coming to the office Monday through Thursday starting March 1st. They found this out via email. The source that I found also got a copy. So it's following the trend of other companies that have been starting to do this. I think Peloton recently did this, but I also think Peloton is about to go bankrupt. So do with that what
Really?
you
With how
will.
expensive those bikes are?
That's
Kind
what
of
I
why.
think I read.
Oh, that makes sense to me. I forget that we're going into a recession. Yeah, no one's buying those bikes.
But yeah, a lot of people weren't really happy with that. And then on top of that, they had the union thing with Disney World that happened recently too, within that same day, I believe. So Iger wasn't really a fan. So then I guess they were like, just tell them about Tron and they'll forget. And so he did.
I'm not surprised at all about
Yeah.
the return to the offices. Like I like the flexibility of working at home, but not that creative jobs are any different than other jobs that require you to that benefit from having people in the same room together. But creative jobs especially benefit from it. Like it's I mean my current job, like I had to learn all these new people and a new process over Zoom, and it was really painful until we started going back into the office and we sort of like, oh, I see you now. I understand who you are. I understand what you're doing. You know what I mean?
I
So
totally agree. Yeah.
I think it's necessary,
And that was his reasoning. He was just saying that it's for collaboration and creativity. So like
Right.
so I understand. I think that for a lot of people that work from home, there is that flexibility and being able to kind of just be in your own space and be comfortable. That's great. But when it comes to those creative jobs, you need to be face to face. Like I feel like the only way that you get to like truly bounce ideas off and you get like a feel for what people think of those ideas, like in person.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of body language and this like conversation that's missed through Zoom. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand why people are upset, but at the same time, I feel like this would benefit the guest experience overall, so I'm not mad at it. So
I get it too. I mean, I more so sympathize with the people who have like this has helped them as far as like childcare and stuff.
exactly, that's where
As
it's
someone
tough.
who is switching jobs and was prepared to go into the office and then found out that it was actually going to be remote, the amount of relief that gave me when I pivoted from like,
Because
oh, I'm going to have to
childcare is
figure out summer camp now.
Yeah,
That's
It's so
$300 a week
Jeez.
at minimum. A week.
Yes.
Like, so like
It's-
going into the office isn't just like, oh, it's an inconvenience. It's a real hard,
Yeah.
serious
financial
increase.
hit.
I mean, it's 8 weeks at
It really is.
$300 a piece. That's insane.
And then commute and lunch.
And then it's usually
I don't-
per child too.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. So I
Studio-
feel
I
for
know-
people.
I-
That's hard. It's a big adjustment.
I think it is. It's huge, and hopefully, Disney did not lose, especially at the studios, did not lose a lot of the programs that benefit families like that, because I know that they have like childcare, or they have there's actually a big huge childcare center literally across the street from the Disney studio that is owned by Disney for employees.
Oh, well, that's
It's
nice.
crazy.
Is it free?
I don't know. I don't know
I
what the
doubt
deal
it.
is there, but
That's my worry.
It might be at a reduced rate or subsidized or whatever. But I know that if I had kids, if I were family going back into a job, I would say, all right, then make it worth my while.
You have to pay me
know,
an extra
add-
$8,000 a year.
Right.
at
Right.
minimum.
Exactly.
Just
Right.
yeah, because I'm paying that now.
Cost of
That's
living
true.
expense,
It's
Yeah.
definitely a pros and cons thing for hybrid work versus like
Yeah.
at home work. So
Yeah,
I think
I
it
feel like it
depends per industry.
disproportionately impacts women.
It definitely does.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So hopefully they do have those programs in place and that they are able to meet the difference in like cost of living, because I'm sure childcare in 2020 or childcare in 2019 is different than childcare in 2023. The prices are so much more different. So maybe they'll meet those standards. Hopefully.
So Damaro had
so.
some things to say, did he not, Victoria? Damaro sort of commented on all the news we've just talked about.
Yes, he spoke with the New York Times and which shook me, made some comments. Although now that I think about it, Josh really did speak to the press more than Chapek, so I'm not terribly surprised.
Yeah.
He made some comments regarding the news we mentioned earlier about the ticket prices
Yeah.
going down significantly. He made some quotes along the lines of he just wants to make sure that the fans are felt like they feel, heard. They're listening and they're trying to make adjustments based on what they heard. Although I don't know if they're hearing that we want annual passes, but I'm not gonna. But he also stated that none of these changes that all the changes that happened in that one day were about demand. And it's not necessarily about a change in leadership. Basically, he's saying that it wasn't really Iger that, made these changes go about. It was just more so listening to the guests, having those face-to-face conversations.
Right.
And he has confirmed that he does read what we say online. So, watch what
Well,
you're
he
saying.
definitely does. I feel like
Well,
he
that's-
looks up his name
yeah.
on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He seems like he does.
I've run into him in the parks, and he is that guy. He's super friendly. He
Mhm.
goes out of his
I've
way
seen
to
him in the parks
take-
twice.
Yeah,
He's always there,
and
yeah.
and he's very camera friendly and handsome, and
Mhm.
so I get that. Like, to me, him saying it's not Iger is actually strategic.
I think
It's
so.
I
Yeah.
agree.
That it's not all these changes are because the White Knight came back. It's because we're finally listening to you again, which
Yeah.
is an Iger effect as well. But it's like it's
is.
very 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 strategic for him to not even pander, but just be like, no, we hear you. Like, that's good, and that's when that the management is doing, at least trying to do the right thing.
I think
Whereas the last 3 years we've had radio silence when those issues come up.
I'm gonna go the pessimistic route. I feel like this is because of the recession. I think that these
Oh.
plans have been in place for a while now, and they need to appeal to their fan base. Like they need to lower their prices down, because during a recession you need to just coast. Like, you're not trying, like, if you can break even, and this was from a TikTok video that I saw from Crutches and Spice. If you guys want to follow somebody who's an amazing disability advocate, you should totally follow them.
Cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. She speaks on a lot of disability issues, which is great. And she talks a lot about marketing. But anyway, so she was essentially just saying that, like, companies, their main goal during a recession is to coast by. And if Disney's consistently making their guests pay these really, really high prices, the first thing that goes during a recession is vacations. No one's going to be taking their $5,000-$6,000 Disney World trip anymore, or a Disneyland trip. They're going to be cutting that back. So now Disney has to focus on their original fan base. So they're going to be doing these bare minimum things that we're going to be thinking,
I'm
oh my
hearing
God.
annual passes coming back. is what I'm hearing.
I feel like they will.
Thank you.
I feel like they totally will. I think in the next couple of months, we're going to be seeing a lot of the things that had already existed prior to the pandemic coming back as a way to, like, say, see, we're hearing you, we're appreciating you. But it's really just Disney trying to keep its fan base like still coming to the parks for revenue. So
Fair.
So now they
Totally
need
fair.
us.
I think
Now
that's
they
what it
need
is.
us.
I think that's really what it is.
It
So
really-
I don't
We
think
would
they're
never hear
hearing us.
Chapek do that though.
I feel like it was something that he was planning on doing. This is a lot of news to just drop in such a short amount of time, and I think that they were planning this stuff already before
It's very possible.
Iger.
If nothing
That's
else,
scary.
someone was lobbying for it.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
do I think that it was because they heard us? I highly doubt that, because these are issues that have been, because it's like they're half hearing us, not the actual things that we want to happen. Like, they're kind of
That's
putting
true. Nobody was like, let me come into the park after 2.
Yeah.
That's my, like,
No one
They're
was
just
like, I
finding,
need
like-
parking back.
yeah, they're just finding like little half measures that don't hurt too much to concede.
Exactly. So I think having the tickets be dropped down, that's not really to our benefit, it's to their benefit, because we're still going to be paying them that money to go into the park, and we'll spend more money while we're
That's
there.
true.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope they're listening to give us more things, but I take a lot of the things that they say with a grain of salt, especially tomorrow, because I feel like he's literally just like vying for that CEO position.
Girl, you and me got the same theory.
Like,
It's interesting because I'm reading Iger's book right now, and the more
Oh,
I
yeah.
read that book, the more I'm like, I got your number, bitch.
So and the other big thing that's happened is some big shakeups and changes at the board level, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on this week, but so this is kind of an extension of the layout of planning as far as succession for the board. So they have named Mark Parker, the executive chairman of Nike, to replace Susan Arnold as the chairman of the board. Now, for those who don't really know, Susan Arnold was essentially the one that gave Iger the phone call to ask him to come back as CEO. She's been with the company for 15 years. So she's going to leave after this. And once she leaves, the board is going to be down to 11 members following this departure. So he's also going to chair a newly planned, like, I guess, sort of board, and it's called the Succession Planning Committee of the board, and it's going to advise the board on CEO succession planning. It's going to review internal and external candidates, and I guess it's basically just like a committee to figure out who's going to be the next CEO after Iger.
Fair.
So, and I think that's fair.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
that is, but the halo effect that's happening is this whole Nelson Peltz story, right? So that yeah, this is juicy. This is a guy that invested a ton in Disney and then opposed the Iger return, right?
Yeah, so I did a lot of research on this morning. I did a lot while these children were napping today. So so this guy, Nelson Peltz, he I believe he leads Tryon Properties or Tryon Partners, and they invested, if I remember correctly, they have almost 900 million
Mhm.
in the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah.
And Nelson essentially doesn't really like what's going on. He's like, the company is like been like financially irresponsible. They made some calls that weren't really good. Nelson mentions on CNBC today that he thought that they overpaid for the Fox acquisition. They are suffering with streaming losses. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this is true, but he has certain things. He basically just wants money. That's
Well,
what it is.
Yeah, they call him
That's
they call these guys activist investors, where they
yes.
try to muscle their way onto corporate boards with money, and they try to buy their way onto the board. And Disney's
And
like,
that's what he tried to
nope.
do. He's been trying to do that since July. He first had a meeting with Shapack in attempts to do this. Then he met with McCarthy and Iger yesterday about for 40 minutes. And he was like, I want you to put me on the board. They didn't come to an agreement. The next day they were like, we can put you as board observer. You won't have voting rights. And we're going to ask you to sign an agreement pretty much where you're not going to buy any more stakes in the company. He said no. And then they came out with this website where it lays out their case for the changes that they want to do for Disney, which are the following, because I brought notes. He wants to refocus on profit growth. He wants to revamp the streaming service. He wants to restore the company's dividends. And he wants to clean up the company's succession planning as it stands. Also, I don't know if he likes Iger or not, if I'm going to be honest. Like he doesn't, he basically said like he doesn't hate him, but he also doesn't want him to stay past his 2 years. But wasn't he
Right.
only contracted for 2 years anyway?
Yeah, it's these guys. First of all, it's not the first time these guys have done this. They've done it with other big companies, Procter and Gamble and DuPont and stuff, and they've
Oh, okay.
also done it. Yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing where big funds will come in, and 9 times out of 10, it's to target these companies and strip them apart a little bit. Normally, it's exactly the opposite of the growth that Disney's been doing. A lot of them will come in and break things up, or tell them to consolidate 2 or 3 things into one thing, or sell off a particular wing of the company or arm of the company. Like, so it's happened before. It's actually happened with Disney. Like last year, there was a guy who bought a bunch and wanted to change the streaming. He tried to get him
that's
to buy
right.
tried to get him to buy
Yeah.
all of Hulu and buy up
Hulu,
the remainder of Hulu. Anyway, it's a this is that level of financial tactic that goes way beyond the guest experience, but can really negatively affect it. Like I think he wants to undo. He's trying to undo what all the growth that Iger has done, even if they overpaid for Fox, even if they.
Oh, I
they,
can
like,
tell you that's what it is.
Yeah, spinning that stuff off now would be chaos.
I mean, I don't see him getting on the board. My thing is, you can obviously tell he has no idea how this business works, because at one point in the interview, he said he would love to add more theme parks, but then in the same breath said the company is broke. So why would you build theme parks if the company is broke?
He just wants to build another gate. He wants a fifth gate, and this is how he's going to get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, babe, that's great, but you just said you broke. So
it's like, how are we going to do that? It's like,
babe, you haven't even touched your Animal Kingdom yet.
Right? It's like, we got 4 other parks to deal with. Let's focus on this first.
Babe.
And that's what I'm saying. Well, he's more focused on streaming, which I guess Chapek was too, but I'm like, you clearly don't know how this business works, so why do you want to be on the board? Like,
I mean, yeah, and everybody doesn't, and no one even wants him there. Why would he, like, why be there? Like
that.
What's
that
I
too?
didn't, yeah. I mean, this is way above, above my pay grade. This is financial bro stuff. I didn't even know what an activist investor was. I was like, oh, is he like a good guy, like that type of activist? And then I saw that he like donated to like George Bush's campaign and like Trump's campaign. And
I didn't even see that.
So he's not that type of activist. so yeah, I definitely don't think I don't think he's an Iger fan just based on politics alone. But yeah, this is very interesting. I think it's kind of scary to see something like this happening because the company's gone through so much turmoil and it's been so volatile over the past 3 years with Chapek and all the things that happen at the end of the year. It's kind of early to be seeing this type of stuff because Iger still has 2 years. Like, give him a break. He's only been there for a month. Like,
right? Like and most of the stuff happened under Chapek, so it's just like, while it is true that Disney was under a lot of financial stress and these things did happen, you got to give the man a chance to correct
this is really interesting. I was just reading Scott Gustin, who is a Twitter journalist, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, great. Scott, if he has a publication somewhere, but he showed a screenshot that Peltz's organization submitted, and they're basically complaining, like, there's a big quote in the box: Disney may believe that price increases and, quote, nickel and diming of cast members and other costs is good for their bottom line. However, we suspect it is short-term thinking that puts the brand value and long-term health of the business at risk, and talks about the recurring complaints about Disney cast members' wages being artificially low. And using that to sustain their streaming services, and how that's wrong, and they need to. And so, like, that doesn't seem necessarily anti-Iger to me. That sounds more anti-Chapek to me, because that's Chapek's whole bag.
Right. And the thing is, if those are the real motives, there's no reason Iger couldn't do those things and then take credit for it. Because he does have 2 more years. So who knows? This kind of stuff, these kind of like, back alley kind of discussion and people trying to muscle their way on boards is nothing new. I think with Disney, what we're going to get is in 4 or 5 years, we're going to get a whole bunch of books that people write about, like, tell all for all of this crap. There's going to be a Chapek story. There's going to be another Iger book. And
I will be seated because I love me and tell all.
There's some very interesting drama going on, but again, it's one of those things where it's like it's such a big sprawling organism. How do you even wrangle this? And they're both a little right, like in this case. So to your point, Janine, that's I'm glad that they're making their opinions public and sort of calling Disney out in a way on this stuff, saying long-term health, you're doing the wrong thing. Maybe that'll cause change. And then we also have, and then the last bit of business, this is super funny and cool.
Like, this one, I'm not even gonna lie, I found this out through a friend. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I guess Iger talked to the CEO of WWE, Nick Khan. And they're possibly working on like a short-term deal for like Hulu, it sounds like.
Yeah,
possibly last till 2024.
yeah. They're putting WWE on Hulu. They've also made deals where to bring WWE to international markets on Disney Plus, because Hulu is basically Disney Plus in a lot of international
Right.
markets. So they already work together for that content. This is basically like Iger stirring up rumors that he wants to buy them, like buy them outright.
Add one more tentacle onto the giant beast.
Why not? Go
Why
for
not?
it.
Honestly,
Why
they
not?
kind of need it. Like,
Do
Are
they?
people really watching WWE though anymore?
no,
Oh, I
stay
know
with-
people who
stay
are
with,
into it.
Stay with me though.
Really?
In Florida,
It's
Florida
huge.
alone, it is huge.
It's
Wow.
Like
huge.
I'm in a Discord chat and literally they're talking about going to like some NXT thing. I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I
it's
remember
big.
watching it like in the 2010, like the early 2010s with like my brother.
Yeah.
But like since
Same.
then, like
I think
have
that
not
would
heard
be
much about it.
something.
I
I
went to
genuinely think that
one-
might be something to help Disney.
You went
Plus.
to
I'm not
one?
even gonna lie.
I went to one once. I had a friend who was really into it, and we went, and it is ridiculously entertaining. I have
Oh
to
yeah,
say,
is.
definitely.
it is like it's a rock concert meets a pseudo sport meets soap opera
Pseudo
drama.
sport.
It is
It's so
like,
dramatic.
my friend kept leaning over and filling me in on all the story stuff that he didn't know. That
Oh
happened.
yeah, you gotta have you gotta know the
Backstories, yeah.
storyline, yeah.
It's like a romance novel, but with punching. Like it's they're ridiculous. So I mean I get it. This could be one of two things. It could be a product category, or more importantly, not the product. It is an audience category that Disney wants, which is probably predominantly male, and predominantly like gamer audience kind of
Yeah.
age. It's either that, or it's because they're making these programming deals and going to be promoting it and broadcasting it and showing it all over the world and being part of that deal, that this is Iger basically stoking the fire for a purchase by somebody else. Like, he's going on a date with them and then saying, no, it's not going to work out. But it makes everybody else go, wait a minute, they're dating Iger? What's going on?
Oh,
Oh.
that makes
it's-
sense. That makes
you know,
sense.
I think it's a good appeal.
He's being their wingman, maybe. Like that's
I mean,
he's-
yeah. Then go for it.
anyway.
What does he get out of that?
That's true.
Money because they're making all these other deals
Oh,
for
right,
the
right.
programming, and
Right.
so they make money off of that. So the more successful they are, even if they don't own them, the more successful they are.
That makes
the
sense.
more successful Disney and Hulu and Disney Plus is. So anyway, I will say, if we ever get to a point where there's like a WWE event in Orlando, like at Wide World of Sports or something like that, I would lose my mind. That would be kind of amazing and a completely different audience than what they normally have. So maybe, who knows?
You guys are making me want to go watch some, because like I feel like it's probably gotten better over the years.
Man,
the
you should
technique's
watch
probably
when the
got
Hardy
better,
Boys
huh?
come back.
The Hardy Boys.
When the Hardy Boys came back, I lost it.
I mean, I'm not.
Hardy Boys.
I wasn't enough of a fan to watch it on TV, but I will highly recommend to go to one in your lifetime. It's a lot of fun. It's ridiculous and awesome.
I just remember.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just
That's
gonna
it.
say that like the time that I watched it at was like when it was John Cena, The Undertaker, like Triple H, like those
Yeah.
people. Like I remember that
Mhm.
WWE.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Love me some Undertaker.
And before we wrap up tonight, this episode, ladies, is our 1-year anniversary of Rat Castle. Can you believe it?
Yay! I did not think we were gonna make it into a year.
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
That's an accomplishment. Look at us go.
And I think
Go team.
what's even cooler is that this episode is going to be released on exactly the same date, on January 16th, 2023.
Oh, it sure is.
What a great coincidence. Anyway, this has been a great year. I have loved getting to know you guys. This has been so much fun. And Nathan, I hope you're feeling better, because thank you for bringing us together. This was all his idea.
Yes.
That's true.
And he found us all separately on the Twitters and said, hey, this would be a fun group. And I look forward to this every other week, and you're all a delight. And for the folks out there listening, thank you so much for tuning into this. We know you have a lot of choices for your entertainment time. and that you're willing to tune into our little puppet show here means the world, and we very much enjoy putting our stupid little ideas and opinions out into the world. How about y'all?
I'm just so thankful that I like have this space with you guys. Like, it's been such an awesome year just getting to know each and every single one of you, and like just all the different experiences that you guys bring. It's just really, really cool. Like, I've learned so much from you guys, like in terms of like the theme parks and just life in general. Like, I've learned so much. So it's been such a great experience. And then because like I don't really have a lot of friends to talk about like this theme park stuff with. So just having that, like I said, that place where we could just talk, banter, just mess around, talk shit about the company if we wanted to, and just get those opinions out there. Yeah, just like spill tea, and have a good time. Like, it's such a fun, like, I just look forward to these days, like literally every other week. It's such an amazing time.
How about you, Victoria?
I agree. It's honestly, that was one of the best decisions I've made of 2022 was deciding to do this. Like, it's been, like I said, it's been a pleasure, like, chatting with you guys every other week, and like just like going back and forth with like ideas and hopes for like something we all equally love and enjoy, and sharing our experiences and just like different perspectives. It genuinely is a progressive theme park podcast. Like,
very
it really
much so.
is.
Very much so.
Also, the people that listen to our nonsense, I am very grateful for. Even the people that give us 1 stars, they're doing their jobs.
We love the haters.
So.
We love the haters. Keep hating us because we have a podcast. Because we have a podcast and you don't. If you want to do something better, do it yourself.
Period.
Period. Well, Janine had to bow out early, and I'm sure she's as thankful, and same with Nathan because he's sick. But honestly, folks, we really podcasting is such a fun thing for us, and we hope this is fun for you. We hope we're living up to our promise of bringing progressive voices and diversity and different viewpoints to the theme park realm and to that discussion. So thank you very much from the bottom of our heart. We hope to keep doing this. Please tell your friends. All righty then, Rat Castle is produced by Nathan Hartman. Please consider subscribing on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. Please tell your friends. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. We'll read it on the air. You can check out our website at ratcastlepodcast.podbean.com. If you have questions for us rats, you rat bastards, you can send us questions and comments and other stuff we can answer and read on the air at bit.ly/ratcastle. In the meantime, please grab your belongings and exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?